This is a severe weather alert.
All right, good morning, everybody. A new tornado warning in place for portions of Pulaski County, also into Wayne County till 5 a.m. That also goes over even into Laurel County until 5 a.m. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to zoom into this thunderstorm, but we also have our home view camera that's down to the south in Somerset, and I want to be able to take a look at that because the potential rotation would be coming in to Somerset. Let me get this panned around here, and I want to read off the warning from the National Weather Service about that tornado warning and what they're seeing. Okay, the newest warning coming in until 5 a.m. So that's a little less than 30 minutes from now because the storm is racing off to the east fast. Remember, all these storms that we've had so far this morning have been moving very quickly. So the information from the Weather Service, 428 severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado was located near Fraser or 10 miles southwest of Somerset, moving east at 55. So again, rotation on radar. It is not, again, seen on the ground. It is just rotation that is detected on radar. So let me go back here because I want to show you what the radar picture looks like to the south, and we're going to zoom in. It's to the southwest of Somerset where the rotation is. Let me zoom back to normal radar view. It looks no clear definition when you look at the actual regular standard radar picture, but when you look at this, boy, does this stand out here. We've got this is probably our tightest circulation that I've seen all morning long. When we get the reds, all right, you look at the legend here. We're looking inside the storm. We're looking at the winds, okay, that are next to each other. Winds that are in the green shades are moving toward the radar, and the winds in the red are moving away from the radar. The radar is in Jackson, Kentucky, so it's up here. So that circulation next to each other right along 27 here. Between Burnside, just very close to Burnside, it's between Burnside and Ferguson is the possible tornado, okay? So what I want to also do is we've got our storm trackers on. It's actually not showing any notches on there, but I want to go back to our home view camera up to, or down to the south, I should say, in Somerset. And I'm going to pan this around because I want to see in the lightning flashes, this is the problem. You get very dark at night like this, and clearly it's going to be hard to be able to see any lowerings at all. Let me just move our camera here. Definitely torrential rain in Somerset. The rotation is actually south of the city. And the other unfortunate part is that it is rain wrapped, okay? If we had a tornado, it would be rain wrapped. So it would be even hard to see until the storm is actually there. All right, let me go back to the normal radar view, and this is going to show you the storm again that we're tracking. Yes, definitely torrential rain, but where we're looking for a possible tornado, it would be in this zone here where the reds and greens come together near Cedar Grove, okay? So this would be the spot that we're talking about right now. And if you are living anywhere, and even in Somerset to Ferguson, to Cedar Creek, anyone in Pulaski County here needs to be in the lowest floor of their home. Let me widen this view back out and kind of reset things. The latest scan, if you notice that, we saw the reds and greens kind of spread apart just a little. They're still there. It's meaning that the rotation's a little more broad, but not to say that we still couldn't get a spin-up tornado. Here's the deal, okay? The atmosphere, we're under a tornado watch this morning. We are for southern and southeastern Kentucky still till 7 o'clock. That may get actually extended a little bit later on in the morning. This part of the region hasn't seen nearly as much activity as the northern part of the state. And what that means is this part of the region, the atmosphere hasn't really been worked over by rain and storms. So the atmosphere is kind of untapped farther south and southeast. So as storms from Tennessee, look at this in Nashville. All of these tornado warnings and severe thunderstorm warnings downstream, all of these storms are going to ride north into Kentucky. So we've got a ways to go, all right? We've got more storms to come. These will rotate in as we go through the morning hours. So areas north of this, though, we're just looking at generally some rain, okay? Let me go back to the standard view. This is just rain. We can rest easy here. But where we have the rotation, it's actually two of these cells here. The main one is near Somerset, and it's moving east. The other one is here into the northern part of Pulaski County, and it'd be going over into Rockcastle. If you see, when I look inside the winds of the storm, let me switch over to the storm relative velocity here. When we look inside the storm, see a little bit of reds and greens next to each other here. That's definitely broad rotation. This is where it's a little tighter together near Somerset and Ferguson, kind of also near Burnside, but more indication would be here, and it's moving east. Let me show you another product that I look at often. This is going to see correlation coefficients. We can look at this sometimes and can see on radar if there's any debris. Right now, not seeing anything that stands out on that would say that that is a possibility, so that's good. But we definitely have weak rotation in that zone that I was highlighting. So Somerset to Ferguson, and even really just off to the northeast of Burnside. So everybody here living within Pulaski County, it's south of Science Hill. You need to be in the lowest floor of your home, a basement, a bathroom, an interior room away from windows. I want to go back to our actual live picture down there and just show you what we're looking at, okay? This is 127 out in front of the hospital here, Lake Cumberland Regional Hospital. Our camera is looking more south, all right, toward that thunderstorm. Frequent flashes of lightning, torrential rain. And again, if there was a tornado here, or if there is, it's going to be rain wrapped. You would not be able to see it because the intensity of the rain is just, look at that. Look at the visibility. It's just totally reduced that. Let me clear this off so we can go back to the radar so you can see exactly what I'm talking about here. This is going to show how intense the rain is with that portion of the storm. First, we got the rotation, but look how heavy the rain is here. There is not a rain-free zone. All right, so Somerset to Ferguson and right along 80, okay, just east of there, east of town, is where we're looking at that potential rotation. That's moving east. Let me get the speed on that from the National Weather Service, because these storms have been racing all night long. At times, we've seen reports that these winds, these storms have been moving about 60, 70 miles an hour. This one is moving east at 55. So let me go back to the velocity picture right here. All right, this is where, if we have a tornado, it's going to be right in Somerset and on top of Ferguson now, okay? And it's actually on the northern fringe, really, of the warning. All right, so this would be the zone near Rose Road, East Mount Vernon Road, moving east toward Grundy Road, again, east at 50. So I want to put this track on here because this gives us some more information on our radar here about the storms in general. It's moving, our computer tells us that the storm is moving east-northeast at 59, and it gives it a BTI, which is a Barron Tornado Index of a 2.6. The lower that number, the lower the chance for a tornado. The higher that number is when we have to really start paying attention. You can see it just dropped off, but it did give us a new storm track where we have that area of rotation just east of the city, okay? So Sugar Hill, well, obviously it's storming everywhere in Somerset, all right? But where the rotation is that we're tracking, these are the estimated times that would be arriving. Sugar Hill now, Barnesburg at 4:44, Grundy 4:44, Shopville at 4:47, Valley Oak 4:48, and Wellborn at 4:48, Stab Community at 4:49. That's a rotation there. There is another little tiny area of more broad rotation kind of down on the south side of this toward Burnside. So everyone in Pulaski County, and I know that the polygon or the warning box here does not include the entire county because initially the rotation was farther south here, and it's kind of, the storm has been cycling a bit. So I want everyone here within Pulaski County from Somerset even as far north as Science Hill, because this part of the storm is starting to rotate just east of there. So Science Hill to Somerset to Burnside and east. I want everybody into an interior room away from windows until we give you the all clear. All right, Drum, Eula, Bent, Dykes Community, Ruth, over toward, looks like Whetstone, Goodwater, Anno communities, all these smaller communities, you need to be into your safe place until the storm passes by. Let me give you a quick reset view on the entire home view picture because some parts of the area also seeing some storms. Check this out, another tornado warning. Now this is just outside of our viewing area, but I know that we have some people that are able to pick us up over here in Lawrence County, still on some cable systems. Tornado warning for Lawrence County till 5:15. It's 4:43 right now. When I look inside this particular storm here, I'm not seeing nearly as much of an area that is standing out that could be rotating as we speak. All the bright shades of green indicate to me that, yeah, there is absolutely still some strong straight line winds over here. Now, there may have been in the last little bit on a previous radar scan, there may have been a little rotation that was there, and you can see it as it went out of Morgan County, crossed over again into northern parts of Johnson. See, this is the track over the last hour. So there has been history that this storm has been rotating a bit, but at the current time frame, not seeing much over there that at least would indicate to me that there's a tornado at the moment into Lawrence County. That, again, could spin up, definitely looking, though, at some potential for damaging winds. The storm, though, that does still have rotation that I'm seeing here is into Pulaski County. The latest scan, again, we're watching a couple of areas down here, but it would be this zone here. See how the reds and the greens, see how there's a gap between that? All right, that tells me that we would want those if we have a greater chance for a tornado. You would want those next to each other, like right on top of each other. There's a gap in there, and that means that the area of rotation is more broad, okay? And that's definitely what we're seeing instead of what we would call close or gate to gate. We'll still treat this that we could get a spin-up tornado there, but I still think the biggest concern out of this even is going to be for some straight line winds down here as we look deeper again into Pulaski County. Now, where our cameras at, the rain on Lake Cumberland Regional Hospital is definitely slacked off. All right, let me move the camera around because I want to show you other parts of where this is. All right, so we're looking south here. So we need to look more easterly. So it'd be north, south, east, west. All right, so we need to look in this general direction is where the storm is going to be moving, or would be, just east and northeast of the city. All right, so let me pan this. It gets harder to be able to see, obviously, the further in distance we go, and plus it's night. So we won't really be able to get a clear picture of anything until we're looking from some lightning flashes. But that's the back edge of the storm as it is gradually departing away. And that red that you see there is the light on top of the hospital that is there to be seen by the helicopters that are taking off and on nearby the hospital. All right. Not really seeing much of a lowering or anything there, so that's good news, but definitely still frequent flashes of lightning. If there is a tornado, it would be here. It'd be into the northeastern part of Pulaski County, and we could put a track on that, and I will, because this has been moving off to the northeast pretty quickly. I'll just track this whole leading edge of where we've had some strong winds, and it's moving more east-northeast at 55. So, I mean, these things are going fast. So Acorn now, Goodwater, it is on top of you at the moment. Sandy Gap now, Van Hook 449, so that's just a couple of minutes from now. Over toward Conrad at 449, Squibb at 450, Billows Community 452, down to Bernstadt at 458. So we'll reposition that and get that cleared off for you. Not seeing as many trackers show up on here for us. I want to look at a couple of other features here that we look inside the storm app. See if we have any hail along with that. that's our hail tracker. That's our hail risk for later on today. Hail inside the storm, we'll go back here and look at the radar out of Jackson and see the 1 hour hail here. It's really not been that much of an issue. We did have some back into parts of Casey County earlier, but that's a 1 hour track. Right now, at least it's not indicating the path that we would be concerned with of at least there at the moment of any hail. The main concern would be maybe for this area of rotation to spin up a tornado. So everybody there, Somerset, the strongest part of the storm that was spawning this is east of town here. All right, and you can kind of tell on the reflectivity a little now that even on the southern side of this, let me go back and kind of match up the velocity inside this again. All right, see the strong, potent winds that are here, and then we'll turn on storm relative that factors in motion. All right, so you see, yep, still a little rotation here and still some broad rotation on the southern flank of this. So when I go back to the normal view of radar, see how there's like a bit of like an appendage here where it looks like that we're getting a weakness in the precipitation in this zone here, which would be, again, southeast of Somerset, so out of town. Kind of a bit of a notch there. So that is a bit of an indication that we could still have even some broad rotation in that part of the storm. Let me zoom in because I want to go back to some smaller communities down to street level as well and kind of plot some of those for you. So anywhere from Ruth to Drum to the Dykes community to Whetstone to Goodwater, even over to Mount Victory, you're all at least in the path of the warning. But I mentioned that the rotation was kind of shifting a bit more up to the north, still seeing that as we look here where we have a little bit of the reds and greens. So that would be more into the northern part of the county as we get up toward Sandy Gap and Acorn, over toward Squibb and Billows in the Stab community. So Shopville, even some gustier winds. I'm not seeing anything indicating very strong rotation, but two little zones that could spin up a tornado. One here really, and a more broad area back down to the south. So everyone in Pulaski County east of Somerset, Ferguson, Burnside, Science Hill, and Eubank here along 27, actually the area of rotation is past you. So if we have a tornado, it's going to be in the eastern part of the county right now, okay? It's going to be running east on 80 is one area of broad rotation. Another one down to the south here, further to the south toward the Poplarville, Dykes, and Mount Victory area, these two zones. So we could, again, be seeing two little spots, but that is just on the eastern part of the county. And you should be down to the lowest floor of your home until this storm passes on by. It'll be out of Pulaski County here shortly. I mean, it's moving fast at 55. I mean, I can track the whole front edge of these two broad area of rotations here, and we'll move it all off to the east, and I may not be able to I'm going to have to widen out the view. In order to do a storm track to get it to go to 55 miles an hour, I'm going to have to widen out so we can get some more real estate to do a track. That's just how fast these storms have been moving. At times last night, the storms have also been moving. We were tracking some of the forward movements at 70 miles an hour. That alone, along with that forward movement and forward wind from storms, is enough that it too can also do some damage. So Bernstedt 457. Billows, it's basically on top of you right now. The Hare community, you see it right there. That's crossing over as we get our way up into, well, that starts to cross over as we get over into Laurel County. So is Bernstedt. As we move this, let me reposition this so you can see some of these smaller communities. London would be down the line at 504. The Ferriston community at 507. So we'll keep watching these. Even though they did not draw the tornado warning over into the rest of Laurel County, everybody even over there in Laurel County should be indoors, obviously, and away from windows until this storm passes by. I know we're getting closer to some people beginning to wake up. Some people have to be at work at 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning. So if you can, stay hunkered down. until we give you the all clear with these two broad areas of rotation. And remember earlier, I was mentioning that there are some more storms downstream that are going through Nashville, going through areas just north of Nashville and also back to the west of Nashville. It's just lining up. As I show you on the national radar view, this is going to give us an indication. Just look, one storm there, another storm there, another storm there, another one here. The storm that's coming through Pulaski into Laurel County as we speak. And this was the first wave of storms right here. This is the one that's exiting out really on the fringe of our viewing area. And we can go over there and give you another little recap because it looks like that they have extended that tornado warning down into portions of Johnson County even. And even with that though, looking, that goes until 5. It goes for Lawrence County until 5:15. Let me zoom in. I just don't see anything with this storm here that is really standing out that would be rotating. Yeah, still some very intense winds with it, probably 60 miles an hour or stronger, heavier rain. Definitely lightning. Look at the uptick in lightning associated with that going into Lawrence County. But that's going to be moving out. And technically, Lawrence County here is outside of our viewing area. But we'll keep watching that closely. Back to the west, though, looks like, yes, we still have that tornado warning, and it is until 5. So we've got 6 more minutes. Let me look here with the National Weather Service. Check in here with the chat. We're in constant communication with them. And they, in the chat here, they communicate to us, the media, about weather as it's rolling through, okay, any damage that they see. Looks like they expired the tornado warning. Let me read this. Tornado warning for southwestern Laurel, southeastern Pulaski, north central McCreary, and north central Whitley counties will expire at 5 a.m. So they're going to allow it to expire at the top of the hour when it was set to expire because the storms themselves, that area of rotation, again, looks like that it has started to weaken as we were just tracking a moment ago. So that's good. We want that to be able to continue to weaken out, and our newscast starts at 5. So we'll probably just roll this on over into the start of our newscast and just stay with this and be set and ready to go for the news team at the beginning of the show because we'll be able to likely, unless if another tornado warning is issued, we'll be able to go on with our newscast and obviously be able to have more of a recap of some other things happening in terms of the news across the state into the overnight. And the big thing obviously has been the weather, not just in Kentucky, but the weather back across the Mid-South into places like Arkansas and Missouri and over into southern Illinois and West Tennessee. Those storms are the ones that are moving here now, okay? So this is what we got. Still some very broad rotation crossing the county line out of Laurel County and over, out of Pulaski into Laurel County. Here's the Billows community. Very broad rotation. I just don't see as much left with this as what it was earlier. And even earlier, we had, when the warning was first issued just to the southwest of Pulaski, in southwest of Somerset, the rotation was tighter. It was definitely a little bit more pronounced. But in the last few scans here, things have really weakened out. Yeah, it doesn't mean that we're not saying that there's still some potential for some winds that could gust up to 60, maybe 70 miles an hour, but really probably closer to 60 by the way of things I'm seeing. We're just saying that the weakness, the indication of rotation, as you can see on our legend here, there's barely much even showing, popping up. Let me take the lightning off. This is the latest update on that, and it matches up perfectly if you look here at the velocity picture. Still, yeah, strong winds, but not nearly as much, at least even broad rotation as what we had a short time ago. All right, these storms keep rolling east, so it is going to be a loud morning. And it is a loud morning with all this lightning that's out there. I'll flip that back on. Look at all the lightning. Loud storms this morning coming through Pulaski over to Rockcastle County, so in and around Mount Vernon, even back down into the northern part of Laurel County there. Still some loud storms and some potential for damaging winds. There's a severe thunderstorm warning there until till 5:30 for Rockcastle. Also, it includes Jackson County. It also includes Laurel County till 5:30. That even goes over into Clay County. It's for this particular part. You see it? It sticks out here. This part of the line is the most intense portion of the storm. Pretty small, pretty narrow, should say, that goes from eastern Pulaski all the way up into Mount Vernon and up to about Sand Gap. In that zone, heavy rain, winds that could be up to 60 miles per hour, and we could also be looking at, yes, that maybe on the leading edge of that there was some broad rotation that could spin a tornado, but they're going to allow the tornado warning to expire, which is the same thing that we're seeing again. The reason they're going to allow that to happen at 5 on the dot is because the rotation has continued to weaken. Let me scan through the chat again here to see about any other storms and see what they're saying on this. They're expiring the Johnson County Tornado 2. We're going to let the Pulaski Tornado Warning run its full course, expiring in 10 minutes. Tornado, let me see, back to the west. Looks like they may have just issued a tornado warning for Wayne County. Here we go. Back off to the west. I barely see, I don't see it in here yet. It may have just been issued. It looks like that it was the one that was from the previous storm. Let me switch radars here. We're in between zones, and it gets hard to see when we're tracking storms that are coming out of Tennessee into southern Kentucky because the radars are far apart here, okay? We've got a radar in Jackson, Kentucky, a radar down in near Knoxville, Tennessee, radar in Nashville, radar in Louisville, and a radar in Wilmington, Ohio. All those radars are really far apart, and this is a zone that we call more of a Doppler dead zone, and it kind of misses out on things. Storms back to the west toward Tompkinsville. Let me double check that because I know they said something about Wayne County before I tossed over to news. Tornado warning for Wayne County, but I don't see that in the system yet. We're going to let let me double check that because I think that may have been a typo from the Weather Service. Data feed. All right, so they're expiring that warning now, all right, and it's just dropped off our map. So the only warnings that we have are those severe thunderstorm warnings that are still in place here for Laurel County, Jackson County, eastern Pulaski, Clay. That goes here until 5:30, as you see right there on the left-hand corner of your screen. Another storm I'm going to be watching is this one here, Allen County, coming out of Allen, going to be going over here into Cumberland County. This is Clinton County, and this is Russell County. So Russell County starts our viewing area. This storm is not severe warned at the moment, but it definitely has some signatures to it that is definitely catching my eye. So we're going to be watching these storms. Guys, I'm going to send it over to you, and we'll start the whole newscast right on up, and then I'll have a recap on the data, on the weather data coming up in just a moment.